Very interesting topic of conversation, okay? Now, I came across this video, and based on the thumbnail and the title, it's information about the construct of the matrix from a 33rd degree Mason, okay? Now, I'm not going to just sit here and assume that this is actual knowledge from a 33rd degree Mason, but the reason why we are going to be reacting to this video is because the knowledge in this video is actually very crucial for you guys to start realizing how our day-to-day, even when you consider going to work, coming home, going to the supermarket, coming home, how everything that we live based on a day-to-day is being controlled and we don't even realize it. Very, very crucial information. Make sure you guys do leave a like down below. We're going to hop right into this video. And make sure you watch the entire video because he speaks about different topics in this video that I want you guys to be open to. But let's get it, bro.
15-minute cities that everyone is talking about now is the Great Reset's trendy new name for open-air prison camps. The idea is to corral everyone into neighborhoods small enough to walk from one end to the other in 15 minutes.
Wow.
Everything you need within a half mile.
Let me know in the comment section down below what this looks like to you, bro. Because to me, it looks like a slave plantation. Get as many slaves into one place as you can where they don't have to leave the plantation. That's crazy, bro. Let's put everybody into one area. Work, home, school, food, everything into one area. Crazy.
One end to the other in 15 minutes. Everything you need within a half-mile radius so that you'll never, ever have to leave.
Wow.
There is nothing harmless about the Great Reset. The perpetrators of this outrageous plan are marketing it with a gentle tone, telling you that you will eat healthy, stay active, get around, and enjoy the outdoors in your tiny little open-air prison camp. These organizations are telling you that there isn't enough room for you because you are the reason that Mother Earth is sick. This is the subtext convincing people to not have children and persuading them to castrate the ones they have. Comfortable.
There was a TED Talk hosted by Bill Gates a few years ago. And in that TED Talk, he speaks about how they're trying to bring the the carbon dioxide production to zero because it's actually starting to affect the ozone layer. And in that equation to bringing the carbon dioxide emission down to zero, the one factor that he chose to eliminate were people. He said that the one thing that we should try to bring as close to zero as possible is people production, as possible. And this is what makes me think about the shot differently. This is what makes me think about this programming that they're instilling to our children about transgender and everyone coming out as fluid gender and gay. No one's going to be able to reproduce in about 10 years, bro. Like, there's going to be so many same-sex marriages and same-sex relationships that they're not even going to have people to adopt kids from because there's going to be so few people creating their own kids, which is why people like Andrew Tate, which is why people like myself, which is why people who speak out against that actually get silenced, which is why it's considered to go against the Matrix because they have a program for this shit. They have an entire agenda behind what they're doing. They're not slick, bro. Let's continue.
Eyes for the fearful, and those with the courage to see the truth can see that this is just an accounting issue. We the people are seen as livestock, looked down upon as useless eaters by godless who want a more manageable herd to exploit for their own selfish desires, who want us to own nothing and be happy and eat the bugs. This plan was officially announced in 2015 and made actionable in 2017 with the goal of accomplishing most of it by 2030. Paris is being celebrated for leading the charge on the trendy new 15-minute city prison camps. But they are not alone. Melbourne, Australia is building theirs. And in America, New York City, Los Angeles, and Cleveland are doing the same. The right to travel is not in the Bill of Rights. In the past, the courts have ruled that this presumed right is firmly established in U.S. law. But things have changed. Today, we are at risk of losing it all. And if we don't stand up for our own freedom, then who will? The Second Amendment in the U.S. Constitution's Bill of Rights is argued.
That's another contributing factor to that entire agenda as far as pushing that very, very, like, I tell you guys this in a lot of videos. People like Lil Nas X, people like Bad Bunny, people who are obviously head male figures, very dominating male figures who promote this feminine energy agenda, bro, is literally emasculating men. I call it the emasculation agenda because their whole entire objective behind that is to make men as weak as possible so that they can't stand up against themselves, so that they can't fight back, so that they can't voice their opinion. I want y'all to pay attention to every single person from the LGBTQ LMNOP community. They always agree with everything. If I walked into a store and said I identify as a fucking camera, they're gonna sit here and say, oh,
Introduce me to Mia. Calm down. Nigga, that's Mia X. Calm down. I want to meet Mia. You see the woman is cooking, man. Calm down. You a G, mama.
okay, I apologize.
The most revolutionary act of government in all of recorded history. And some Americans seem to think it's a law that allows a citizen to own a firearm for self-protection.
It's a right.
That is false.
It's not a law.
This was true before the American Revolution.
It's a right.
All throughout history, there were laws created by the ruling power that allowed certain citizens to carry certain weapons for self-protection. But that's not what the Second Amendment is at all. The Second Amendment officially recognizes the God-given birthright that every American innately possesses: freedom. Every single American, down to the lowest commoner, has the right to arm themselves and constitute themselves in a militia. The Second Amendment does not grant us the right. It stands to protect our natural rights from government. It is the bane of every tyrant and control freak, because before the Second Amendment, only the ruling class had standing armies. The Second Amendment is the only remedy man has ever wielded against a corrupt government, and it can't be taken away or infringed upon unless we fail future generations and allow it, which is already happening. Several states have unlawfully stripped Americans of their birthright.
Bro, it's the natural born right to protect yourself. You never seen anybody in a fucking village or a tribe get back from hunting and then put their sticks in a pile. No, they took them shits home. This is my hunting tool. This is my protection against predators. But all of a sudden, it's like, in today's society, we put our faith in cops. The same cops that are killing people unlawfully on a daily basis. We're putting our faith in them.
Put infringements upon, which has only increased the amount in those areas.
Wow.
Because criminals don't obey laws.
Of course not.
And even though the Supreme Court recently honored the Second Amendment, our corrupt Congress is working together to infringe upon all Americans. No matter what happened in Texas, we know that the police stood down and allowed it to happen. And after Hollywood dispatched their latest celebrity with political aspirations to dance on the graves of children, we know why they stood down. Unless you're a brainwashed zombie, it's crystal clear why the government is desperately trying to challenge the Second Amendment. The U.S. government is not only guilty of committing crimes against the American people, they are guilty of committing crimes against humanity and international crimes. It is in fact the American citizens' duty to remedy the situation and restore the republic. It may often be a solution in human affairs, but it is never a good solution, and it requires very little courage, if any at all. And that brings us to the First Amendment. The First Amendment is not nearly as revolutionary as the Second, but it requires more courage to wield. To peacefully stand against evil with your individual voice alone requires great courage. And if enough people were able to muster that courage, then the light of truth would overcome the darkness, and the American people would become a righteous people. This is why in Washington, D.C., want to convict Julian Assange under the Espionage Act. They see it as a viable way to circumvent the First Amendment. If they can convict Assange, they can convict Tucker Carlson and Alex and anyone who exposes their corruption. And then what? Immediately following the Supreme Court's decision to recognize the Second Amendment, they overturned Roe v. Wade, another constitutional victory. See children as a commodity, a slave, or a piece of property to dispose of as its owner sees fit. But our American birthright applies to every living American. As revolutionary as it may be, the Bill of Rights is nothing more than a lawful remedy that we inherited. It merely recognizes our natural freedom. To actually secure this freedom,
Bro, it's so insane, bro. Like, actually think about this shit, bro. Actually think about this. The fact that there are actually people who want to control what we say. Like, think about that. What we can and cannot say. Like, the Bill of Rights is supposed... The Bill of Rights in its entirety is supposed to protect our natural-born, God-given rights, okay? The freedom to speak, the freedom of press, the freedom to bear arms and protect yourself. Like, these are natural things. These are things that no society can strip from anyone. These are things that we actually live. Like, this is a foundation of life. The fact that I can't say certain things or they'll shut me up, the fact that there are so many different, especially nowadays, so many different creators, whether it's content creators or actors and actresses being blackmailed or whatever you want to call them. There are so many people that are being silenced. There are so many people being controlled in how they speak. I even catch myself monitoring what I say nowadays because they've already taken so many videos down, giving me...
How much time did you spend on manual busy work last year? You know, the repetitive little tasks that you have to do in order to keep your business running. Let Zapier take
so many strikes. They penalize you. It's like they're literally threatening you, bro. You can't say certain things. That shit is crazy to me. That is a God-given... Like, how could you not say certain things? God forbid I talk about the fucking vaccine on the YouTube channel and they're gonna delete my video, bro. God forbid I speak against their plan.
requires the courage and the will of the people.
Wow, bro.
Our government's job is not to change our Constitution. Their job is to secure it and abide by it, which is what only one Supreme Court...
Which is why a lot of people say that the government, police officers, politicians, fucking local officials, they work for us. They're not supposed to be working for them. The government is the biggest corruption. They're supposed to be working for us.
...is interested in doing. In the recent Supreme Court arguments, the majority of judges expressed their concern that their decision would be used to overturn other recent decisions, specifically constitutional laws pertaining to contraception, sodomy, and Judge Thomas alone made it clear that these decisions should be overturned. And he's right, because all of these perverse concessions are nothing more than attacks on our Constitution. And if Americans were a serious and righteous people, we would preserve our American birthright for generations to come.
Americans are gonna get furious when they hear this. After a year of paying the highest food prices in nearly 4 decades, industry insiders are warning that your grocery bill is set to shoot up even higher this winter, and the coming round of increases is gonna be extremely painful. 50, 60, and even 70% price hikes are no longer a threat, but a reality millions of households in the United States are already facing. At this point, more than 1 in 5 American families is reporting food insecurity due to the skyrocketing costs, according to the results of a survey released yesterday by the Urban Institute. Our domestic food production took a massive hit this year, and farmers are fuming, with the situation saying that things are definitely not gonna be okay. Meanwhile, supermarket CEOs and restaurant chains are telling the public to buy and stock up on supplies while they still can, because conditions are only gonna get more complicated from here on. In other words,
Shit like this is very funny to me because there was literally a motion sent out in the Midwest, and there are many farmers who can attest to this. They have videos online. Maybe they're deleted, but there were a lot of farmers in the Midwest who were receiving notices of action that they have to actually destroy a third of their crops, that they actually have to destroy certain food. Okay, we're not accepting corn. Get rid of 35% of your corn this year. We're not taking anything more than that. I want you guys to pay attention to the fact that as the price for food gets increasingly higher, the quality of food is decreasingly lower. I want you to be mindful of that. We're eating a lot of fake shit that causes cancer, shit that causes brain malfunction, shit that causes blood disease and high cholesterol and high blood pressure, things that aren't actually good for you, things that are actually causing like reactions in the body that aren't healthy are going up in price. Because guess what is the biggest fucking scam in this entire country? Big pharma, bro. And we all know that big pharma companies made billions in the past year and a half because of this whole vaccine shit, bro. Billions. Pfizer, J&J, all of these companies that participate in that sector made billions because they literally get you sick. They're injecting you with a chemical that's gonna have a malfunction in 5 years so that you come back to them and get injected with another chemical that gets. It's like a cycle. It's like a never ending cycle. Whereas if you go to a fucking nutritionist, like a nature nutritionist, they can give you a remedy, homemade. Yo, drink this tea, drink this, drink that, eat this, eat that, eat this, and it'll go away. You don't have to lower your blood sugar by taking insulin. You could just stop eating sugary foods, and you can eat the proper sugary foods. You don't have to alleviate yourself from high blood pressure from taking medication. Like, you can actually do things naturally. People don't seem to realize that because they rely on big pharma, which is just another spending habit, another debt collector, and it's just affecting your body overall. Definitely affecting your DNA and definitely affecting the kids of our generation. But look, bro, I'm gonna end this video right here. Very, very interesting content. I'm probably gonna watch a lot more videos from this channel because he has a lot of good content, bro. I'm gonna end this video here. If you guys did enjoy, make sure to leave a like down below and subscribe. And I'm gonna catch you on the next one, man. Peace.